This program was made possible by a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Long time ago, before the time of Christ, the people, the Maya people of Guatemala and Mexico, told a story of the creation, of the birth of the sun and the moon, and of the sowing of the first corn. The Maya drew pictures of these sacred stories on pottery that was buried in the graves and in tombs. These pictures were meant to guide the dead through the frightening trials of the underworld to their final place of illumination. This story of creation is known as the Popol Wuj of the Kichimaya.
Ka katsinok ka kachamamok, katsinonik ka katsilanik, kakalolinik ka tolong napu chupaka. Guaecate navetsig, navichang, mahabijun guinak, junchikop, sikin, kar, tap, che, abak, hul, siguan, kin, kichelá. Chutukel ka geolik.
These then are truly the first words, the first sounds. There was not yet one person, one deer, bird, fish, tree, rock, meadow, or even forest. All alone the sky existed. All alone the sea lay silent. The womb of heaven was still. They were there. The former, the shaper, majesty and plumed serpent. Brilliant they were then, and wrapped in plumes and dove feathers. They spoke. They thought. They pondered. Then they gave birth. Then they thought about the birth, the creation of trees and shrubs, and the dawn of life and humanity, all created by heart of sky, heart of earth. They called on our grandmother, Ishmukhani, our grandfather, Ishpiakuk. What can you make that may be intelligent, that may worship us, that may call upon us? Try to make obedient beings, respectful beings, out of earth, out of mud. English was soft. It made no sense. It could not multiply, and so it was destroyed. Try again. Try one more time, grandmother of day, grandmother of light. At a stroke, the dolls were made, carved of wood. But the wooden people had no hearts, no minds. They abused the trees and the rocks. They abused their dogs and their grinding stones. They did not think of their creator, heart of sky, heart of earth. And so they were destroyed. Their dogs tore at them. Their pots smashed their faces. And heart of sky brought a great flood. Those who escaped the great flood are the monkeys in the forest today. This is the story of the making of the father of the hero twins who bring light to the earth. In the darkness, in the nighttime, were born one hunter and seven hunter. One hunter married alligator parrot. Their first two sons were one howler and one monkey, both artists and magicians. The fathers and sons played ball every day on the road to Xibalba, the underworld. Of Xibalba were called One Death and Seven Death, Pus Maker, Bile Maker, and on like that. Their job was to sicken people, to kill people. They had heard of the miraculous rubber ball, and they wanted one for their own.
What's happening on Earth? They don't respect us. In fact, they're throwing things over our heads.
One Death had a plan.
Hey, knife owl, one-leg owl, parrot owl, skull owl, bring the ball players here. Invite the fathers down here to play with us. We want to enjoy ourselves with them.
When One Hunter and Seven Hunter arrived, they were tricked and humiliated by the lords of Xibalba. They just were not wise enough. And so they were sacrificed. dead and barren tree. Instantly, that tree came to life, sprouting skulls and gourds and blossoms. It was forbidden to go near that tree. It was forbidden to touch its fruits. At this same time, there lived a maiden, Little Blood. She heard the story of the miraculous tree told to her by her father, Blood Chief, a lord of Xibalba. She thought,
why can I not go and see this tree? Its fruit is said to be truly delicious.
And so she went, all by herself, to the tree.
Will I die? Will I be lost if I pick just one?
You don't want this fruit. This is not fruit at all, but a skull that has turned around on the branches of a tree.
I do want it.
Then stretch out your hand. I have given you a sign. This head of mine does not work anymore. When a man dies, people get frightened by the bones. But one's essence is not lost. It remains whole and lives in one's sons and daughters. This I have given you, Little Blood. Climb up to earth. Do not be afraid. You shall not die, for in you my sons will live. Six months had passed when Blood Chief saw that his daughter was with child. All the lords of death gathered in council.
Make her tell the truth. Who is the father of the children in your womb?
Little Blood said that she had never known the face of a man.
She lies. Howls?
Take her and sacrifice her.
Bring me her heart in a gourd, quickly!
Away they flew, carrying the girl and a sacrificial flint knife. The owls did not want to kill Little Blood. But how could they trick the evil lords? What could they use for a heart? It was Little Blood who told them to take the sap of the tree. She knew that the sweet fumes would bewitch the lords, so that she and the owls could escape to earth. And thus were the lords of sickness, the lords of death, and the lords of darkness defeated. It was by a maiden that they were all blinded by the sacred sap Popol. Little Blood had climbed to Earth, to the home of the Creator Mother, the mother of the head in the tree, the grandmother of one howler and one monkey.
I have come, O Mother. I am your daughter-in-law.
Where did you come from? My sons died in the underworld. All I have left are these two grandchildren, one howler and one monkey. My sons are dead. I do not want you. Get out!
But it is true. You will see for yourself. My children will have the faces of your lost sons.
It is just your fornication which is in your womb. You are a demon, but I will test you. Go to our field. If you come back with a full net of corn, I will believe that you are my daughter.
In the field of the grandmother, there was only one stalk of corn. Not 3, not 2, but one stalk of corn. She called upon the guardians of the fields.
Oh, I am lost. I am such a sinner. I am truly unfortunate. O woman of ripeness, O woman of rain, O Chahal, guardian of the food of one howler and one monkey, O woman of ripeness, O woman of rain, O Chahal, guardian of the food of one howler and one monkey, O woman of ripeness, O woman of rain, O Chahal, guardian of the food of one howler and one monkey.
This is a sign. It must be true that you are my daughter-in-law, and that your children are already magicians.
This story is of 2 boys. On the mountain they were born. They were called Hunter and Jaguar Deer. At dawn, the hero twins were born. Their grandmother wouldn't receive them. She didn't want them. The older brothers were jealous and red with anger. They wanted the twins to die on the anthill. They wanted the twins to die on the thorns. But the twins did not die. They just grew up in the mountains hunting food for the family. Hunter and Jaguar Deer were never given food or warmth. They were just always hungry. One day, the twins came home without a bird of any kind. Not one bird for the grandmother.
Why are there no birds? Why is there no dinner?
Well, what happened, Grandmother, is our birds were caught up on a tree. We could not climb up to get them, dear Grandmother. If our older brothers would like to, let them come with us to bring the birds down, dear Grandmother.
All right. We'll go together at dawn.
We shall transform them. We shall teach them a lesson. Just what they wish for us shall be their misfortune. There is Yellow Tree. There, our birds are up there. Climb up. Just climb right up.
One howler and one monkey went up after the birds. But the tree shot straight up into the sky, and they were terrified.
Hey, baby brothers, help us! Save us from this frightening tree! Dear sweet brothers, take pity on us!
Just loosen your belt. Let your loincloth hang down like a tail.
One howler and one monkey were defeated, punished for their arrogance, their jealousy, and their anger. It was the magic of the twins that turned them into monkeys. Time passed. Now the hero twins were young men.
We'll clear your fields and sow your corn.
Their words were just to trick their grandmother so that she would feed them. Truly then, it was the magic of hunter and jaguar deer that cut the trees and planted the corn. At dawn, they returned to their cornfield. All the trees had been raised up again. All the brambles and the thistles had entangled themselves again.
Someone is playing a trick. Someone is making fun of us. Let's just watch over our cornfield tonight and surprise them. We'll just catch them and stop them.
It was midnight when the animals came along, all talking in their own language, all saying, "Rise, tree, walk, rise, vines, walk." Deer and rabbit lost their tails, but hunter and jaguar deer were still burning up because they could not catch even one animal. Then they heard another one.
Rise, my
walk.
Then they saw Rat.
Need walk.
They seized him, squeezed him, and burned his tail. They made Rat's eyes bulge and his tail have no hair.
Wait a minute. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. And it's not your calling to plant the cornfield.
What are you telling us?
I'll tell you right away, first give me a little something to eat.
We'll feed you later.
All right. Your calling is the same as your father's 1 hunter and 7 hunter who died in Xibalba when they went down there to play ball. You are ball players.
Well, the twins were so happy to hear that they were ball players and not farmers, they rewarded Rat for all eternity with corn, squash seeds, chili, bean, cacao, and chocolate. And if you find anything in the garbage that you like, you could have that too.
Your father's gaming things are hidden in your roof. Their rings, their gloves, their ball, all hidden from you by your grandmother. You see, your grandmother doesn't want you to die.
We'll trick her, said the Rat as he scurried up the roof beam, which is called Road of the Rat today. We are hungry, Grandmother. We want some chili sauce. Grandmother, we are thirsty. Bring us some water. But then they made sure she wouldn't come back for a long time. Mother, we are really thirsty. Bring us some water. And they got rid of her too. High up on the roof beam, Rat scratched away until the sacred ball and all the gear fell into the hands of the twins. Playing a long time on the court of their fathers when the lords of the underworld heard them.
Someone up there, over our heads, has started a game again.
They were excited by the sound of the ball, and they wanted one for their own.
Go and call them.
Let them come here to play ball.
We'll wound them.
We'll beat them.
We'll make them crawl.
Hey, knife out. One leg out. Parrot out. Skull out. Go, call them. Say to them, come with us.
Hunter and Jaguar Deer were still playing ball when the owls arrived at Grandmother's house. After she agreed to tell the twins of the summons, she sat alone and wept.
It's just like the coming of the owls before their fathers went off to die in the underworld.
A louse plopped into her hand.
Oh, you, my little child. Wouldn't you like it if I sent you to go along and find my grandsons at the ball court? Tell them messengers have come to your grandmother. Tell them come to Xibalba within 7 days. Tell them your grandmother told me to say this.
The louse crawled along until he met Toad.
Your message will move more quickly in my belly, louse.
Then Hawk swallowed Snake and flew to the ball court screeching, "Hawk, Hawk, Hawk!"
I have a word in my belly for you.
And he vomited the great snake. The snake vomited the toad. And the toad just opened up his mouth and drooled. And nothing came out. The twins pushed on him until his back was like it is today.
Oh, now look what you've done.
Your grandmother cries. You must go play ball with the lords of Xibalba in 7 days. Hunter and Jaguar Deer went to console their mothers. Each of us shall plant a cornstalk in the middle of your house. If it dries up, you can say, he must be dead. And if it bears a tassel, you can say, he must be alive. This is our word that we leave with you. And so they went. They left on their journey. As they passed the place of the wooden men, they met the false sun, 7 Macaw. I am the sun, the light, the moon, he said. I am the path for people to follow. Well, the earth was not a safe place for the sun to rise with this braggart around. And so Heart Up Sky told the twins to shoot him. Just take away the jewels that make him so proud. And so they shot him in the jaw. They called on the old people to help them retrieve Hunter's arm and the jewels of 7 Macaw. He was moaning and crying when he saw them. "What can you do for me?" "Oh, nothing," said those humble old people. "We just remove jaw bugs and cure eyes." "Well, cure me, but don't remove my teeth and my eyes. It is because of them that I am a lord, brilliant as the sun." Well, they took out his teeth, and they took out his eyes. They took all his jewels and just left plain white corn in its place. The false pride went out of 7 Macaw, and he died. His wife died too. "7 days had come to pass, 7 days since the summons. Hunter and Jaguar Deer took their blowguns and went down through the canyons, down through the scorpions, down through the flocking birds,
Ice River and Blood River, the underworld people thought that the twins would be destroyed, but they did not touch the deadly water. They crossed it on their blowguns.
At the crossroads, they were not confused like their fathers had been. They set a spy ahead. Bite them all and learn their names. And yours will be to suck the blood of people on the road forevermore. That was Mosquito's reward.
What's wrong, One Death?
Bitten.
Oh!
What is it? Death? Flying noose. What blood, Chief? Ow! Bone staff. What, fussmaker? What? Skull staff. Ow! What happened, Bilemaker? Wound maker. Bloody claw. Snare. Bloody teeth. Bloody wing. It's bitten all of us.
Hunter and jaguar deer were not tricked when they arrived. They greeted each lord by name, for Mosquito had told them. And knowing the names takes the power away from the evil person. One Death asked the twins to sit down, but they saw that the rock was a hot seat. They were not tricked as their fathers had been.
Very well. Just go on in the house of darkness, the first trial of Xibalba. These are your torches. These are your cigars. They must burn all night, but give them back home in the morning.
Ah, but the twins did not light anything. They attached fireflies to the ends of their cigars and red parrot feathers to the end of the torches. When the night watchman looked in, he was sure he saw fire burn. He was sure the twins were defeated. In the morning, they handed back their torches and cigars. Whole, and the evil lords lost. The lords of Xibalba were really troubled. Where did those boys come from? Where did they get their power? Who gave birth to them?
How did they trick us? Let's just play ball.
We'll use our ball.
Oh, no you don't. The twins countered. We'll use our ball.
No, we're throwing ours out.
What is this? You invite us down here to play with you, and now you try to kill us. We're leaving.
No, stay. We'll use your ball.
Yeah.
And the ball of the twins went right through Xibalba's ring, and the game was ended.
Let's play on what will we win?
Our prize will be 4 pots of flowers.
Yes! Red bells, white bells, and yellow bells, and a bunch of the big black ones.
But they won't be able to find any because all the flowers are in our garden. Now lock them up in the House of Knives.
And they locked the twins in the House of Knives, the second place of torture in Xibalba.
This time, we'll win.
Immediately, the boys spoke to the knives. For all time, what is yours is the flesh of all animals. The knives became still. They were quiet all night. The twins were safe for the moment, but how would they get the flowers?
The boys spoke again.
Come, knife ants. Come, cutting ants. Go to the garden of 1 death. Go to the garden of 7 death. Bring us 4 gourds of flowers.
In the garden, the watchman had been warned not to let the boys cut flowers. They stayed awake and called to each other, but never noticed the ants climbing the trees and crawling over their toes, cutting the treasures of 1 death, cutting the treasures of 7 death. At dawn, the twins came out of the House of Knives with red, yellow, white, and black blossoms. The lords became purple with anger and split the owls' mouths as punishment, and that's how they still are.
The lords were really distressed. They played a couple of tied games with the twins and locked them up in the House of Cold. It was all frost, all hail, completely frozen. The twins destroyed the cold by lighting fires in the old tree stumps. The lords of Xibalba were becoming frightened, and they wanted the twins dead, so they locked them in the House of Jaguars. Don't eat us. We will give you what belongs to you for all time. They dumped piles of bones before the beasts. The crunching of the bones was a sweet sound to the watchmen's ears as they imagined the twins torn limb from limb. At dawn, all the people of Xibalba were amazed. There they were, hunter and jaguar deer, alive and well. The underworld was losing heart. Those boys just would not die. They put them in the House of Bats. There were nothing but death bats, huge vampire bats with fangs like knives. But crawling into their blowguns, the twins slept soundly all night. Suddenly, it was still.
Hunter, how will we see the dawn? I will look. Hunter, is it dawn yet? Hunter, what are you doing? Hunter, are you gone?
All the people of Xibalba rejoiced as Hunter's head rolled around the ball court. They had really won this time, and it had not been easy. Jaguar Deer called all the animals, large and small, to come to him with their food. They brought different things, decaying things, dirty things. At last, Coati brought a pumpkin to become the head of Hunter. It was not easy to finish the face, and so Possum was called to delay the dawn. 4 times he darkened the world so that Heart of Sky could add brains and finish the face.
Is it good? Yes, it is good. But you had better not play at all. Just make lots of threats, and I'll play alone.
The boys looked well and healthy. They went down to play ball and saw the head of Hunter at the ball court.
We've been winning! You're already finished. Better be giving up! You have already lost!
The ball flew up and out of the court. Rabbit had been waiting. He bounded off, and all of Xibalba chased him, shouting and running after what they thought was the ball. Jaguar Deer exchanged the pumpkin for Hunter's head before Xibalba returned.
How does that feel? Much better. Thank you, brother. Here it is. Time for ball. Come back and play ball.
They played again. Pumpkinhead smashed into the wall and sprayed pumpkin seeds over all the lords. That was the defeat of the lords of sickness and the lords of darkness. Hunter and Jaguar Deer had endured all the trials of Xibalba. They had neither died nor had they been defeated. Yet still the lords of Xibalba ruled. It was then that the twins saw the sign in their hearts. They would die by fire in Xibalba, and their bones would be cast into the river. They called 2 seers, 2 sages. Tell the lords to grind our bones on a stone, the way fresh corn is ground, and
to throw it into the river. Say that this is your prophecy.
Hey, boys, come here. Come play a game with us. Let us drink and fly 4 times over the fire, boys.
You can't deceive us. We will not play your game. The twins looked into the huge fire that the men of Xibalba had built. They embraced each other, jumped into the fire, and died together. They died that day, just as the seed must die before it is born. Xibalba was crazy with joy as they threw the ground bones into the river. The bones sank to the bottom. Days later, they were seen as fishmen. Two old beggars in rags came to Xibalba. They didn't do anything. They just danced the screech owl dance. They danced the armadillo. And the centipede. They could dance the stilt dance too. Soon everyone in the underworld was watching them and talking about them, because sometimes they would burn down houses that would be there again. And kill themselves and come back to life again.
Who are these two beggars? Are they really amusing?
Owls, tell them to come here. Tell them to come so that we may see what they do.
That we may admire them and regard them with wonder.
The owls invited the beggars, but they were too ashamed.
No, we don't want to. We are afraid.
The owls beat them and herded them to the house of the lords.
Where do you come from?
We don't know, O Lord. We never knew the names of our mother and our father.
What do you want for your pay?
Oh no. We couldn't take anything.
Let my house be burned. That was truly marvelous.
Let my dog be sacrificed and then revive his face.
Sacrifice this man. Rip his heart out. No sacrifice.
twist and turn so that we can see it.
This show so gladdened the hearts of 1 Death and 7 Death that they felt like they were dancing and making music themselves. Their hearts were filled with the desire and the longing to be part of the dance.
Why did you do it to us? Sacrifice us in the same way!
Sacrifice us and bring us back!
Well, they sacrificed 1 Death and 7 Death, and they did not bring them back to life. And it was then that they revealed themselves. We are hunter and jaguar deer, and these are our fathers who you killed. 1 hunter and 7 hunter. You people will never again be great. We are the avengers of our father's death. Having conquered all of Xibalba, they walked into the sky. One became the sun. The other became the moon. Together they light the heavens and the earth.